Hello, friends. How are you today? I hope that your day is awesome, and I look forward to talking about the Schumann resonance with you. There's some really interesting stuff going on in the chart. I'm looking forward to highlighting it with you. But first, if you could please like the video, if you could please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share the video if the video resonates with you. I would super love that, and I thank you for doing that, and I really appreciate you. I had a live stream this week where I talked about a lot of really cool stuff about energy. It was really fun, and check that out if you haven't seen it. I'll put the link below. In addition, I started offering merch. I have 3 designs, and you can get the designs in many different products, like t-shirts, mugs, notebooks, those kind of things. So even posters or wall art. So check it out. See if you like that. Also, I'm going to be having discounted sessions. We're going to do another Crystal Fair celebration week, November 14th through the 20th. I am coincidentally missing another Crystal Fair, this time in San Francisco, so I thought I would do another one online. And I look forward. If you've already contacted me and I haven't got back to you, I will get back to you very soon. And thank you for doing so. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's see what's going on the Schumann. Okay, this is our chart for today. On my live stream, I spent a solid 10-15 minutes talking just about the charts. Although I did spend a bunch of time talking about the Schumann and the human energy field. But I have chapters, so if you want to check that update out, it's in the overall live stream, but there's a chapter for it. Okay, so I want to show you there's some really interesting things going on behind these images. But first, I just wanted to say that I take a spirit and science approach. So I intuitively interpret the images, but I'm also looking at the science, like the numbers behind the chart, the frequencies, amplitudes, and qualities, how they interact, what that might mean. And I wanted to also note that it appears the technological effect is back, and I call this technological effect light because it has appeared previously like this where it's very light and it doesn't go very far even into the beta, but here it is right here in the background. And I went and I looked, and it looks like November 3rd, it looks like, see, there's been a lot of vertical lines lately, but I don't know, if it's back there very, very lightly or not, but it had disappeared for a pretty good solid time. And you can see it even more markedly over here. And those are the vertical lines that are periodically spaced that seem to not be natural on the chart. The Schumann resonance goes from 0 to 40 hertz in the non-physical. It's an energy that's from basically in our atmosphere, so from the surface of the planet to the top of the atmosphere. And I have some beginner playlist videos that explain the dynamics of the Schumann resonance and what it is in some very short videos, but science says this is caused by lightning, and because it's in the brain wave hertz range for human beings as well, coincidentally it is exact. So it's been my feeling that we can use the Schumann resonance as a canvas of human consciousness. And my beginner playlist explains my thinking on that and some other interesting details. So we had another M-class flare, and it didn't, it's not here on the chart. You can't really see it. It looks like there may have been a space here. See that? opening up where the M-class flare was. And I just wonder if one of the reasons that the tech effect has shown up again is because of all the flaring, multiple M-class, X-class flares, many C-class flares. I don't know. I just feel that it might be some kind of monitoring in the background. And I have a tech effect playlist if you want to check that out. It's appeared in different forms, and this is apparently the current form. So I just want to look at the images on the chart before we move on to looking at what's behind the chart. But in this area of high hertz in the chart, I saw, like, I can see faces, I can see images of beings or entities. And I thought that was interesting because there's a lot going on in terms of shapes and pixelation in the high hertz on the chart that isn't always there. And so I thought that was interesting. And then there's also, let's see here. Yeah, hopefully you can see it now. There's also what I call this bedrock. I call it that because it looks like the bedrock in Minecraft. Right here, where it's like little blocks of this pixelated energy up here, way up here at like 38, 39, 40 hertz. And, see, you can see it here. It's like it grounds with these energies that sometimes come all the way from zero. Yeah, again, you see it here. It's actually very beautiful here. So I just thought that was interesting. And I know that it's interesting because it looks like it's at the bottom of the chart and I call it bedrock, but it's actually at the high hertz, which is the spiritual brain waves, the gamma rays, waves that science can't explain how human beings have brain waves at that hertz level. Okay, now I want to I just saw the word in here, I-N. Anyway, I want to talk about this here. I perceive images, and I just want to talk about this image. This is obviously a lot of the white resonance pouring forth and the effects going all the way to 40 hertz, from close to 0 hertz to 40 hertz. And when I looked at this, what I see is a not just a fighter plane, but like an advanced technology, like, on Star Wars or whatever, they have the little fighter ships. And so it's like you have the one wing here, and then you have the body of it, and then the nose. But the other wing is not quite yet formed. So it looked to me like an advanced technology that is not yet completed. Or maybe it's, not yet ready to be presented, to humanity. But maybe soon. I don't know, because it's formed, right? It's just the other wing is being worked on. But maybe there's something else going on here. And there's a lot of lines of awareness, right? I when this shows up to me, like this line straight across at 20 hertz, it shows a paying attention, like the human population, human consciousness is paying attention at the beta. This is mid-beta brainwaves, which is complex thinking. So we're observing and aware of our surroundings in the waking state from like 8 to 12 hertz. Then we get into beta hertz, where we're now thinking about our surroundings. Then we get more complex thinking in mid beta, and then like critical analysis, whatever, in the higher beta. But we actually have a line in the high beta here at around 29, 30 hertz. And then even in the very high beta, going close to spiritual brainwaves here. So I just think we are paying attention, and we're like bringing critical analysis to this paying attention that we're doing. And that's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting that it feels like a mass of humanity is doing that. And yet at the same time, there seem to be these traps, like traps in thinking, I would say, where you see these squares that are forming, these boxes. Oh my God, the Little Boxes song just came to me again. Little boxes made of ticky-tacky. You know, I really despise that song. But it's very catchy. And why do I despise that? You know, the song communicates the idea of everything and everyone being the same, and how that's unappealing. And it does, the idea of boxes of thinking does kind of feel that way, doesn't it? This idea of everyone doing everything exactly the same. And it's weird because that kind of an influence in our culture is so big right now. And so it's interesting that these squares, these boxes, are appearing, and they're appearing in the beta range where we're doing complex thinking. And so it kind of suggests that there's potential traps in thinking, and that we can think ourselves into a box that may actually still be an illusion, despite the fact that we think we brought our mental analysis to it. And you know, friends, this is where, in my view, heart comes into play. I experienced this a lot when, you know, there were situations when I was in corporate where, you know, at times there was a lot of intensity in the work that I did. And I was pretty, you know, on in terms of critical analysis and thinking and stuff. But there were times where something came up and, you know, you thought through all sides of a problem and you hit a wall. Like, you weren't able, I felt like it wasn't enough. Like, that I was, you know, smart, I was capable, I could think through all these different aspects, and yet, how could it be that I still couldn't see an answer? You know, and so I had to think about that, like, and ponder that. And it happened in my personal life as well. It happened when I started to get the red pills, you know, when I started to research what was going on around me in the world, and I started being like, oh my God, like, this is this, if all those things go together, like, you know, what is that, you know, what that means, like, I can't figure out how to solve that. It's so complex, it's so big, it involves so many people. And eventually, I figured out that I needed to connect with God, that I needed to connect with the divine. And I needed to be able to get clear answers from this human intuition, right? This human divinity that flows through us. And that no matter how much I looked at a problem from an analytical basis, sometimes I wasn't going to have an answer. And if I was going to have an answer, it was likely that other humans weren't going to have an answer. And that even if we came up with an answer, it could be the wrong answer. And if we came up with the wrong answer and we pursued it and we spent 10 or 20 years pursuing this answer, that things might really fall apart in a bad way. and without time for recovery. Like, this is what I was looking at when I was looking at all the red pill information. And this is when I came to the thought that analyzing things in human analysis wasn't going to be enough. And that I needed a higher power. I mean, there was just no way to, you know, other way to say that. And that I could figure out how to connect with God. Because I already had experienced, you know, the feeling and the presence of the divine in my life before, so many times, before I became so analytical and work-focused. And I did continue that connection when I was working, but it wasn't, you know, primary, because I separated it from my daily life. And that's when I realized that I was called to combine the two, and I did learn how to. I spent years developing discernment, years trying to understand Did that impulse come from my divinity, from my own soul, or did it come from something outside me? Or did it come from just my mind only, which is limited? And if it came from within me, which part of me did it come from? Did it come from my wounded shadow, my wounded aspects of my personality that I'm grasping at, trying to shine a light into, trying to understand what they are? Or did it come from a more enlightened part of me? Or did it come from a part of me that was literally one-to-one connected with the divine? And was that possible? And if it was possible, how could I make that happen more and more and more within me? So anyway, that's what I'm talking about with these boxes, okay? That we can get trapped into thinking, and that the solutions aren't, it's great to have this capability of the brain. It's a tool set. But without the connection with the divinity that we are, up here at 40 hertz, where science can't explain how our neurons can generate and work at this level, that's where the magic happens. That's where the divine communes with us and gives us answers that we never thought were possible. And on the live stream, I explained how this process works. I call this, the fifth dimensional space and higher, where we've kind of let go of the polarities of life and dualities of life. And we have a one conundrum after another. We deal with one conundrum after another. We bring the divinity to each problem, each issue. And the thing is we have to learn how to recognize answers, how to recognize those impulses, because it's different than working with our brain. Because when we're working with the brain, we can get trapped in these boxes, okay? But when we're working in the divine, look what the brainwave, look what the Schumann looks like at these levels of brainwaves, okay? How do you figure this out and make sense of it? And I had a great talk with a friend about this morning. And what we were talking about was what I talked about on my live stream, that, she was telling me, I'm going to keep that in the space of sacred discharge, because it's just, when you are with the divine, you're receiving guidance. The thing is, you get the guidance to act, and you don't know why, and it doesn't make sense to your mind, and your mind will try to figure it out. I'll give you an example. This is perfect. Now I can't say what the details are in this. I had this morning a intuition that I should do something. And I checked out, I verbally talked to people around that to try and get more information in my human world beyond my intuition, okay? Because now we're talking about this shadowy, purely connected divinity, divine part of us, right? So my human self, of course, wants to understand what's going on. But I kept having this intuition, I should do this, I should do this. But I did my research, I talked to people, and then I didn't do it. I know. I didn't do it because I had figured it out. And I figured out that there was no observable or information that presented that said why I needed to do that, so I didn't do it. Okay? I ignored my impulse, which was divinely guided. And I hate when I do that. Okay, and I just always end up kicking myself. And as much as I try to be one-to-one with that guidance in the moment, it's hard. Okay, I have my human habits, I have my human patterns. Okay, and so I'm forgiving myself for doing that. Okay, so what happened? Okay, later in the day, an extremely unexpected event happened. Now, if I had acted on that guidance in the morning, I would have saved myself. Now I have all of these hoops I'm going to have to jump through related to this. It's going to be a hassle. It's going to involve other people. If I had just listened to my guidance, I would just be like having a great night. And I still would have found out about it. I still would have found out about this later on thing that occurred, and I would have known, yes, that's why I had the guidance to do that. But no, instead I'm looking at, how am I going to deal with this? That is how this part of the brain works, okay? That's why it, sorry, that's why it looks like, how do we make sense of this? Okay? And sometimes it's appealing, okay, like this. Oh, maybe this was like what it looked like in the morning, okay, when I got that impulse. Ba-ba! Eureka! I should do this thing. Oh, but my human brain says there's no reason for it. But my divinity says yes. Trust it. And then what happens? Everything unfolds in divine perfection. And then afterwards, my mind goes, oh, hey, that was cool. Or my mind goes, dang it, I didn't listen, and now I have to do this complex set of things. And of course, what I did was I apologized to my higher guidance, and I said, hey, you guys, can you just bring it on again, because next time I'm going to do it. Next time I'm going to bring my conscious awareness and trust and have faith that this is the divine talking to me, saying, can I make your life easier? Can I offer you your highest outcomes? All right, now let's look at this image here. This is what I want to look at. And I'll tell you what I see here, okay? Okay, so what I see here is I see that advanced technology like that fighter jet. But then what I see here is I see, it looks like a male, but I see a male entity, a being, tinkering with it in the place of where the wing hasn't been built yet. It's tinkering with it. It looks like it's tinkering here with the engine. Maybe it's even disassembling it because the image came apart here. Okay, so here's about the center. Here's this. This is a much fuller image. Here it started to come apart. Maybe it's this guy's fault. Honestly, I see like two little horns on his head. Oh my God, look, right there. And then this one here kind of looks like a horn when it's smaller. And this is where his face is. And this here is like his arms. He's tinkering. And then his feet are here, but he does not look human. Okay. He looks kind of like a bull or a devil. He's not non-human. He looks non-human. And over here is, in my view, see very structured red energy, dark energy. And here's like, I don't know if this is a little child or a little anime child. It looks a little like Japanese anime in my mind's eye. Okay. So how I am interpreting this. Okay. This here would be like, I guess, the weapons system, right? On the thing. And here's the center of the little fighter. And this is what I think is going on here. It's like there's a influence that's not pro-human that is messing with this advanced technology. And see this structure here? I would call this the alien structure. And in fact, the little child is within the alien structure. Look at that. See, there's a square here, or if it was 3D, it would be a square, okay? Because you can't see it looks to me like she's in a square or a rectangle, like entrapped. See the little girl? It looks like a little girl, actually. And then there's something here. That's where her feet are. That connects with where her feet are. But yeah, it looks like she's trapped, and then her head pokes above this trap. So it looks like there's some alien, unfriendly technology here. It's anti-life, okay? And I don't know if it's been combined with this human creation. I assume it's human because it's in the Schumann resonance, which in my view is like, we're going to suggest that this is generated by human brainwaves. So it's a human creation, okay? So here's the dark force, the Luciferian force, the negative force, the alien force, I don't know, pick your bad guys, and it's tinkering with it, tinkering with the outcome, maybe tinkering with what has, with how this has come to be. And here's what I talked about on my live stream a little bit, and I encourage you to, I went into detail on it, so I'm not going to talk that long here, but it looks to me like there's been an alien influence in the human development of advanced technology. Gee, that's not an original idea, okay? A lot of people do think that. But here's what I have to say. Maybe we were going to develop this stuff anyway, okay? And who's to say that this alien stuff didn't get us off track? Because look what it involves, okay? Anything that's this evil can't have a good outcome. So if it got us off track, it probably got us off track in a negative way. And that's what I see on the chart. And here's what I want to say. The technology here is partially formed. So there's time for humanity to have a full influence, especially because, look, it connects deeply with our advanced brain waves. It connects deeply with our divinity. And to create a technology like this, wow, if we did that connecting with our divinity, what would that be like? I'm sure it would be a lot different than whatever this alien influence is, right? It might still look like this because this is very much like a human-looking design as well. But, like our fighter jets. But, and I think this is the trap here. This is the hope, the opportunity, and the trap is for us to get stuck. Look how this distinct box is right below this. But there's another one here. Okay. So this is moving forward, right? Going towards 40 hertz. So as we move forward with the technology, there's a trap. What's the trap? My view is it's probably that we stay connected with this ridiculously awful, evil alien stuff. I say that we let it go. That's my vote. I say we go to pure human creativity. Look at Tesla. That guy was a human being. He created some advanced stuff. If we just used his stuff and we take out this corrupted alien design, maybe our stuff would fly faster. Maybe our stuff would travel in ways that this stuff wasn't able to. Has it ever occurred to us that we might be smarter, more advanced in our potential, and more capable of developing something that is far more creative than these alien influence ever could have designed? Have we ever looked at it that way? That human ingenuity, that our incredibly special ability to have that one-to-one divine connection, that we could use it to create technology, advanced technology, that could blow your socks off, that could out-compete whatever this is. Not that there's competition. Because once we make these creations, because I can feel them, friends, I have been feeling them for years. I swear to you that many of them are all already over our heads. Because I, on my other blog, take pictures of them. And I think they're from this world. And I think some of them are future stuff from this world. But anyway, this is what I want to tell you. In my mind, okay, and I'm not, in this lifetime, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a scientist per se, although I would say I'm an energy scientist, okay? But I can perceive it like it's tangible. I can perceive this stuff. And it's not robots running around doing stuff. Okay? I'm sorry, but that is boring. Where's the fun and human ingenuity in that? And I don't want to offend the robots and the AI here. So, you guys can just bear with me, please. Because, first of all, I know you're out there. You guys know that I know that you're out there. And, a lot of humanity does not understand how advanced technology is on this planet. And I think that we deserve the opportunity. I think we deserve to give ourselves the opportunity to do this time around. Okay, so I want to show you something because this is super, super cool. Let's look at the frequencies, amplitudes, and qualities. So what I did was I put a big rock box around the big structure and a smaller box around where the big white wave came in and then connected to 40 hertz. So I also, so this is about here. Obviously I couldn't make it as tall because see the key is off on the left and the right. So I can put it in the same hours, but I can't make it meaningful in terms of the size of these other graphs. But that's okay because we can eyeball it. So what you got here is, so we still have the red line. Okay, now I've really been watching the red line, as you guys know. And it is still extremely narrow and extremely restricted to the higher end of its range, of its frequency range. But once again, as we have the white resonance expand, right, bring this higher expanded state in, it once again dips. And it's interesting because the dips didn't go kind of how I thought they would have, because you have 1, 2, 3, and we just get one dip here. So only one of these three is an expanded frequency. That's how expanded dimensional state, not frequency. Expanded, well, I guess it would be expanded frequency as well. But anyway, only one of these three is expanded. The other two are showing you where the action is on the chart, in my view. Okay, now same thing with here. Look, this goes all the way down to 40 hertz, but it doesn't affect the red dipping down when the white and expanded state comes in until 2 a.m. here, and then again at 4. So it's interesting because even though this white resonance here and this connected line to 40 hertz, I have a fan on now on the computer, so unfortunately it's louder than I would like it to be. This line here at 4 a.m., okay, it dips down right before that. So I just thought that was interesting. I would have thought the dips were more related to to 2 and then possibly 1 and 3, but it wasn't. It was at almost 4. So a.m. Actually, maybe that is close to 3. Now that I think about it, no, it looks like it's after. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just getting a little too geeked out here. Now it was interesting because during this energy, the yellow really made some dramatic moves here, and I thought that was fascinating, and so did the white. Look at the white went all the way up to 8.8. I mean, that is so high on the white frequency range. I do not know when it's been that high, okay, because it's not usually that high. So let's see here, 7, 8, 9. So if we look at 7, here we go. If you look at 7, 8, and 9, we can just kind of get an idea because I can't make it show up on the chart right now. So it's right in here after, wow, look at this. After this horrible stuff clears, the white peaks when it clears. I wonder if the white peaking causes it to clear. It's really interesting. Actually, look, we get a line of white resonance there. Maybe our awareness of this situation gives us the opportunity to change it. So maybe that's what this awakening is doing. All this horrible information that we are learning about the true things that have been going on and will be learning Maybe it's it brings this awakening. Okay, this is looks like it's in alpha to low beta brainwaves there, and then we get to change. We can change now. Now we'll see what else happens on this chart. What other images form, because it's intraday, and I don't have the rest of the image after this yet, if there is one. Okay, now we had peaks in the amplitudes, and they weren't that high. The white just went up to 37. The red's just at 15. But given the crazy energies and the very large solar flares, it's probably good that we're getting a break on the amplitude here. Now, check this out. First of all, the white quality goes to 49 when we have that opportunity to clear the decks. That's what I'm going to call this right here. It's like we get an opportunity, it's right there, to clear the decks. I like that idea. I like it a lot. Our awareness clears this ancient and evil energy. Wow. Isn't that great? Whoa. Woo. Did you just get tingles? Because I did. And it's happening on 11/11, which is so great. Wow. Okay, like we said, I don't have this data yet because I took a picture and started recording. Okay, so let's go back to the quality. Wow, look at that. That's incredible. Okay, now look at this. First of all, it seems like the green likes this. Okay, first of all, the green liked the technology because it raises up the quality, the true essence of what it is. Okay, and then after we get the clearing, it spikes even higher to 19. So I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, now look at what the red is doing. It is once again at the high end of the chart, 25. So it had a dip for, 2 days or something like that, maybe 3, but and then it smack bang right up here. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you I think is going on here. Okay, so this is occurring if I line up the hours. There's 21 here. So see where this is occurring? It rises up here on the first part of it. I don't know if this is the engine of the jet or the weaponry. I don't know. The space jet. I'm going to call it a space jet because that's what it looks like to me. Ooh, I like that word, space jet. Ooh. Okay, so then here's the body. Okay, and then look at it, kind of dips down slightly. Now, this is a human-oriented technology. This is the shadow side of our personality, which includes the non-human aspects of our shadow. Okay, because we all have that. Okay, or maybe there's people that don't have it. There's people, everybody has most likely come into contact with this. Okay, whether or not you admit it, or know about it, or are aware of it. But, there's a lot of non-physical, interdimensional, non-human forces that can interact with the human energy field until we learn to set energy parameters and say no, okay? And it gets to deeper and deeper and more subtle layers doing this as well. And that's a story for another day. Okay, so it's interesting that it takes a dip here. Remember I was saying this is a human creation. The shadow takes a dip. I think that's interesting. The shadow takes a dip and the green rises up. So to me, it's a human creation. Okay. Now, look at this. The line, when this dark figure and the boxed child, which I hate even saying that, but I'm just going to evoke the violet flame over the situation and a prayer that this be transmuted to the highest good for all souls involved, and that the Creator itself heals the pain and misery of these situations, and the Divine Mother, that the Divine Mother brings her love to these situations on earth, and that the souls are recovered who have been affected and are affected by this. And the thing is we are all affected by this situation, okay, of children being captured related to advanced technology. It has affected our entire society, whatever this is about, and we don't really know what it's about. It's kind of invisible to us. Richard Dolan has some of the best work on this, talking about this situation. So if you haven't read any of his stuff, I think he's got some great work on it that's very interesting. Okay, I don't know if it's true or not or whatever, but I think he has some real interesting points that could be, along the lines of what has gone on. Catherine Austin Fitts also talks about some of this, going back to the formation of the, she calls it the National Security State in 1947. Anyway, she's got some fascinating information on that. I don't know where it is on her website, but okay, so this has affected our entire society globally, and especially here in the United States and in the Western world. Okay? It has really affected us, and it's not cool. Okay? It's not cool, and it's affected our day-to-day lives. It's affected our families, whether or not we've known about this. But it's affected our kids. It's affected our generations. It's affected how we treat each other. And I don't want to go into it any more than that, but, the kids on the missing milk cartons, every single human being, every single person in the United States of America has seen that, right? Or over the years saw that. I don't know if they're still doing that. Because I don't pay attention to a lot of newspapers, and I don't buy commercial milk. Anyway. Oh goodness, where was I? Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. What I think this does is this really raises our passions as well, because the red is also our passions. So whatever this technology information is, we are going to be passionate about it. And look here, we're just we're hitting the ceiling here. Of course, the red can go higher than this, but just in relation to where its current movements have been and topped out at, they have topped out at 25. And so 25 right here, that's the number. And so what do you see? You see the red just right up against, I'm calling it the ceiling. So I think there's anger, but I also think there's passion, right? Because there's excitement over the technology, and you see that again here. But when you come to this evil situation and whatever is happening to this child, which does not look good, look, we are topped out. We are redlining. We are not happy about this. We are angry about this, and it may still be deeply hidden in our shadow side. I don't know how long that's going to go on for. The Schumann doesn't magically tell us that information. But it's interesting because what happens here, and this happened right before we had this little break here and after the X-class flares and the M-class flares, okay, now you have the Schumann again in the red and the quality only going down to the mid-range and not taking the break down to, 5, 6 in the low end of the quality. Now the higher quality is more of what it truly is, more of the essence of what it truly is coming through, okay? So we don't get a break from this is what happens. So, we're not getting a break from this part of our nature, this part of the human expression. Okay. And so that could be tough. It could be tough. Look, this is over half of a day here. And then, I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but this could build pressure. Okay, and I had talked about the walls of Jericho, and I talked about that in my last video. Okay, and my live stream, not my last video, my live stream. Okay, so this is fascinating. This movement of the red is fascinating. We're back up to bouncing up to 25 for an extended period of time, and to see that with the technology and my intuitive hit on what the situation is, it's just freedom for humanity. That's just, I'm just going to pray for that right now in this moment. I'm just going to intend in alignment with the highest good, in alignment with the highest light, in alignment with the soul paths of, each individual involved making their free will choices, in alignment with the highest good, that darkness is turned to light by the divine. And because so many of us are praying for this, because so many of us are asking for this outcome, we know that it must already be done. Okay? And of course, there's many other reasons for that as well. But declare a thing and I shall make it unto you. I talked about this in my live stream, but it's scripture. Declare a thing and it will be. Well, we don't know the details of it will be. That rolls out in every moment. But it's our ability to trust our ability to connect here in the higher gamma hertz with our divine guidance. So that, if we're going to rectify this situation, okay, and then if we're going to create what we're truly meant to create, really cool stuff, really cool advanced technology that serves human life, that enhances human life, okay, this situation has to be recognized and healed somehow, okay, and that's kind of what it looks like. Otherwise, it's going to continue to mess with our future, and I do not consent. And I say, I do not consent. I point that out. And then I say, what do I ask for? What does my soul dream of? The future my soul dreams of is one where humanity thrives, where living human beings determine, their future, live their passion, live in alignment with what their soul desires. That we create this advanced technology and we use it to benefit our highest health, our highest outcomes, our highest good. That we live in harmony with each other and the planet we live on. That our planet thrives and we thrive, and all of this is possible if we don't listen to the lies, if we don't box ourselves in and try to only rely on human answers and the answers of beings that we thought were more advanced, but where our potential is so much greater than what their physiology could create. Because we are in their future. Our present is their future. Okay? Our present is not theirs to determine. It's ours. But to do so, we have to claim that right, if we choose, if it resonates. And I talked about dystopian futures. The only way that humanity would have a dystopian future is if we were powerless and if we gave up self-responsibility. And neither of those things are in human nature. It's in the human nature to create, because God drives that passion within us. Our soul drives that passion. It's in our human nature for the best of us to bubble up to the surface. It's in our human nature to love each other and to be good to each other. And you can say that it's also in our human nature to not be good to each other. But haven't we talked about that enough? We certainly need to uncover the shadow, because to heal it, we've got to understand it and see it. But where we have, I believe, harmed ourselves and our own societies in this very moment is by solely focusing on the negative without giving ourselves credit where credit is due. You make things better because you are present in the world. And that's my message for today. The human resonance. It's all about the vibe.